Hi everyone. Welcome to the another interesting series of part of the series. And as you know, I'm Tamaghna Basu, founder and CEO of DeTaSecure. We are a Web3 security company, and I am a Polygon advocate. And as part of this Polygon Advocate initiative, what we're trying to do is we are trying to bring in the other thought leaders of the industry to actually share their thoughts about Web3 security and their suggestions in terms of how the community can understand, learn, and grow in terms of Web3 security and protect their data and projects in the Web3 space. So today I am really fortunate and glad to have Mudit as one of our guests. I'm kind of, he's a good friend. He's a mentor for me. He is the go-to guy for me, to be honest, whenever I need some help or support or, suggestions, in terms of, Web3 security. So he's an expert, plethora of experiences there. So Mudit, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here with us.
Thanks for having me, Tamaghna, and thanks for the wonderful words. You're special, like it means a lot coming from you, especially.
Great, thank you. So Mudit, for the people who will be listening to this, would you please introduce yourself? Who are you, and how was your journey so far in the Web3 space?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Mudit Gupta. I'm the Chief Information Security Officer at Polygon. I lead security there and smart contracts. I've been in the space for almost 10 years now. I started out with pen testing actually outside the space and then moved in here via Monero. So I started out with Monero and then Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polkadot, now back to Ethereum scaling. I'm leading security now. Before this, I was leading R&D and security at SushiSwap. Before that, Polymath. And along these things, I've done a bunch of independent audits and consultancies.
Great, thank you. So Mudit, why Web3 security? I mean, also when we both are from security space, right? Security is very vast domain. What made you curious or to actually pursue the path of Web3 security? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So there are two things to this. One, at least for me, one is like I come from a traditional security background. So security was always in my mind. Even when I joined the researcher in my security was at the my mind. And then when DeFi started kicking up and the DAO hack happened and other things started happening in this space, then I got more interested in Web3 security as like, oh, this is interesting. Or real things are happening. It was fascinating to me. And that's when I decided to combine my like traditional security experience with the blockchain knowledge I've gained over the recent years to work in Web3 security.
Great, awesome. It sounds like how I jumped into security as well. I think I don't know whether you spoke about it. So I was a developer earlier, and then one day I just saw a data breach was happening in our company, and then that made me very curious. Oh wow, okay, looks like, is this called hack? And then we said, yeah, I want to learn more. But yeah, I think I'm glad to hear that someone else also kind of stumbled upon something like this and pursued a career option. Great. So moving on to the next question. First of all, congratulations being a speaker in DeFi Security Summit. I mean, obviously you're pretty recognized and well established kind of speaker and mentor in the industry. So what you're going to talk about in DeFi Security Summit?
Yeah, so honestly, I've not decided yet. So I have one talk tomorrow at DeFi Security Summit 101, where I'm thinking of doing a practical workshop kind of a talk where I show where I go through a live smart contract in front of everyone and try to hack it. So like not actually hack it, but show everyone like the techniques you can use and the mindset you need to be a red team person to attack something, and then they can apply that knowledge to actually defend from those attacks. That's one plan. And then I think on 16th, I'm honestly not sure about the dates, but I have a panel on bridges and bridge security. So there, like, bridge security has been like a very hard thing to solve, really, not just solve, like to maintain. We have had many big bridge hacks recently, multi-chain, Nomad, Ronin, uh, Harmony, like all of these big hacks. So it's a very interesting topic that I'm looking forward to debating.
Wow, nice. So yeah, I think folks who are listening to it, if you are at DeFi Summit, I would highly recommend to attend both the events, because you will be able to hear from one of the OGs in this space, and seeing the live demo of a security demonstration of a smart contract security would be really interesting. Great, great. So yeah, next question would be, what's your view on the future of Web3 security? What do you think, we are heading towards?
So, I mean, the future is gonna be, I think, more similar to what Web2 security looks like right now. I feel like there are gonna be some standards everyone would be following. There would be a common set of best practices everyone would be following. There really won't be any of these basic bugs happening again, like public mint functions. I hope like that gets resolved, and we will have a baseline of security that any half decent project will meet by just following the commonly known best practices that currently don't really exist, or they're hard to find. And beyond that, then there would be security experts who make sure all of the nooks and crooks of any project is secure.
Great, great, great. So it's a very interesting thing you talk about, right? So basically, that's even, personally, I also feel on the similar line that, there is a fair amount of maturity is yet to happen in this space, in terms of security. So yeah, towards over the time, I think, more and more standardization, more and more framework gets released. I think that will become that will solve a lot of this basic fundamental problems, I would say, which is exist today. Right. And then what do you recommend to the Web3 community, the users, the project owners, the developers, and also, let's say, a security aspirant, somebody who's like to pursue a career here, and how they should learn, they should grow, and towards the future, how they can manage or cope up with the evolution.
Yeah, for sure. I think everyone needs to start by learning the basics of security and Web3 security. The thing to understand about Web3 security is that it's not something new. It's really some additional things on top of Web2 security. So first, you need to understand the Web2 security concepts, and Web2 security concepts translate into Web3 security concepts very easily. Like if you think about Web2, I think people now understand that sharing their password with someone is bad. Similarly, in Web3, sharing your seed phrase or your private key with someone is bad. So, if you can understand the Web2 security, you can translate it into Web3 security. So, there needs to be some education around it that we build on top of Web2 education. If we go ahead and try to teach everyone about Web3 security from scratch, it's going to be a big battle. I think we need to build on top of the basics that people already know. Don't fall for phishing scams. Don't send money to random people. Uh, don't accept random requests. Don't enter your passwords or other secrets anywhere. So all of these basic Web2 things, we just need to translate them into Web3 concepts and then educate everyone.
Nice, nice, nice. I think I remember one of your post, maybe a tweet, where you mentioned majority of the Web3 hacks are not actually a Web3 hack. It was a Web2 exploit, something like that you mentioned, I think, quite some time back. Do you remember
Yes.
that?
Yeah, for sure. Like even now, if you look at the big hacks, the multi-chain hack, it was like a key compromise. Then there was before this the Ronin hack, the Harmony hack. They were
Mhm.
all just key compromises, Web 2 hacks, nothing related to Web 3.
Yes, 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 yes. I think that's pretty. And in fact, yesterday I was talking to another speaker, and then she said that phishing and all this is like just big time here. That's all. It's just there's not enough maturity and understanding that how to handle phishing and how to be not to become a victim of that, and that's ends up having this kind of attacks or stealing of money and all this. Great. The last question from my side is any recent hacks that you came across and found interesting? What do you think was the reason and how it could have been prevented?
Yeah, for sure. So I think I can talk about the Ronin hack a little bit because that's an interesting one. It is the biggest black hat hack that has ever happened in crypto
Mhm.
space, and it could have been totally avoided if best practices were followed. So it was a hack worth over $500 million. So it's super big, and the hack happened because the servers which had the keys to validators of that bridge got compromised. So that bridge was, I think, 5 by 7 multisig or something along those lines. And the attacker just had to compromise 5 nodes to drain the whole bridge. I think it was 5 by 9 or something like that. The attacker was, and out of those 5 nodes, 4 of them were being run by the same company. So, like, as soon as you know how to exploit one, you knew how to exploit others. And the fifth one was, funnily enough, accessible by the other four. So, for some reason, the other four had access to the fifth one. So, it's all traditional security failures. First, low threshold of MPC, just 5 by 9. Then 4 of those 5 nodes being run by the same company using same techniques. Another point of failure, another traditional security failure, and then key being available, the private key being available in public text on the node. Another failure of traditional security, nothing related to Web3. So all traditional Web 2 security failures, if they would have followed the best practices, none of this would have happened. And in fact, the way it got compromised was another Web 2 attack vector. So the attacker sent some phishing email, if I remember correctly, to a DevOps employee of Ronin, and they got the DevOps employee open some malicious PDFs to compromise their laptop. And once the DevOps employee was compromised, they got into the servers through their computer. So again, a bunch of Web2 security failures here. One, the DevOps employee opening malicious PDFs and not having the right antivirus or something along those lines to block those malicious PDFs. The second bit was the DevOps employee having access to 4 of these critical infra pieces in the first place. So that was another big failure because even if the DevOps employee wasn't compromised, it's a bad scenario when one employee has access to all of these funds. So that's another failure. Then, just like getting once they got access there, they were easily able to traverse into everything. The keys or other things on this developer, like DevOps employee's laptop, were easy to compromise. So all of these combined together, a bunch of Web 2 security failures. It was not just one thing failing, it was half a dozen Web 2 things failing that led to this exploit. If even one of them didn't fail, it would not have happened. So security is always all about having layers of security, and you just got to make sure you have enough layers that they don't get breached. In this case, they had some layers, but not enough, and they paid for it.
Yes, brilliant, brilliant. I think you very well articulated this. It's a layered security approach which they should follow. And yeah, and then I think there's a role-based access control. There's a social engineering aspect. There is also storage of sensitive data where you're storing keys or passwords and whatever it is. Then actually again servers, the server hardening part you're talking about, and then again eventually obviously how the attackers could actually travel through the network, without having monitored or restrictions. So there is no strong monitoring, I believe, in that case also. So it's brilliant. Yeah, it looks like we can make a movie out of this actually. So it sounds like that. But I mean, the way you were putting this is really good. Way of putting it. So thank you so much. I think that's it from my side. With this, we're coming to an end of this bit. Thank you so much, Mudit, again. I really appreciate it. It means a lot for the community, someone like you coming and, explaining security in a plain, simple English, and, what can be done and what should we, do follow as a good practice. So, I wish you all the best on the DeFi Summit. And in the future, we look forward to hear more of your tweets, your, probably talks and other, suggestions you have for the community. So thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to probably say to the audience before we stop?
No, I think thanks for having me here. It was a really nice conversation. Thanks for organizing this.
Great, great, great. Thank you so much. And yeah, all the best. Have a great conference in DeFi Security Summit and look forward. Thank you.
Yes.